All right, this is No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. We're back on YouTube for a live. We haven't done one in a little bit, Michael. I'm glad it's nice to be back with our YouTube friends.
Oh, without a doubt, it's been a long time coming, and push us out there. Push us to get on with you.
There you go. You're right. Sometimes you gotta petition it.
Yeah, you got and not too hard. You don't have to twist our arms too much. RJ's ready to go any minute, all day long. Patronage family from here, so this is our pool. The people that come on, they like what they see on YouTube. They jump over to us and they join the group, the family. So it's a great group we have on here, and led to our Patronage family that's really strong, solid.
You know, it's never good to overly toot your own horn, but I gotta say, Michael, I'm really proud of how well we did on Patreon and how we really built this thing over the past 12 months. I mean, we really got a nice, strong following here. We really do. YouTube, Patreon, the whole network.
Well, you know what? If people think you're honest, you're telling the truth, you humble yourself, and you're respectful, the key word, people who stick with you, they'll give you a shot.
Yeah. So how you been? You good, brother?
I'm good. I know we were going to do a live on a previous show and maybe talk about Gravano's show about the Salvatore stuff. But we had breaking news today.
Yeah.
Really.
Cicale.
Yeah, my phone was lit up today.
Mine too.
Yeah, it was lit up. And it had to do with Dom Cicale. And, we'll talk about that. We're going to, if we get to it, we'll do the stuff we previously were going to do about the show with Sliwa and the Gravano mini-series, we got to call it, whatever he has on there. If we get to that. But I like to talk about the Dom stuff because I think it's really important for this genre to see that somebody has come out from his inner circle, that he thought he had an inner circle that Gravano was trying to build. And as they say, I'll give him his moniker, the snake, no more the bull. That's Dominick Cicale's, and I'll let him own it. I'm just going to stay with Cicale a lot and Scabby right now. But the snake works too because serpente in Italian is snake. So got to beware the snake that hides, the handshake that hides the snake. Dom, the snake bit you. I'm going to finish the show because I didn't see the whole thing, but very interesting for what I did see so far, maybe the first 15 minutes. You gave him a shot. You gave him a real shot. Yeah. So I got something to say. All right. As an intro. Go. I was going to, before the Dominick stuff came out, I had something to open up with. And, we all have dreams. And we have nightmares. Sometimes our dreams are really, really great. Euphoric, happy, great. It makes your day sometimes a great dream. And then you have nightmares. And sometimes they could rattle you to your core. And I want to see somebody say that a nightmare never really scared them. As a child, all the way even up to adult. So this is the way Gravano thinks. To our dreams, our happy dreams, his nightmares or our nightmares is happiness to him. He lives these evil nightmares out in his head into the real world when he was younger, when he was in that life that we were all in, to the life he's leading right now. His nightmares, he's living out on film. He's living out this evilness, the nightmares that we all have had. But they make him happy. There's a difference. His nightmares or his thoughts of evilness make him happy. He puts it on the screen. So we'll get to this more in depth. I just wanted to say what we were going to lead into with Gravano series. And you see, if anybody watches, we'll drop the links if you don't want to go there. And you watch his show. We'll give him the hits. We'll give him the views. But you're going to see what's inside this guy's mind. Pure evil. And Dominick Cicale found out for himself. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Guys, if I cough occasionally or sip some iced tea, I've been a little under the weather, so please excuse me. I'll try to mute as much as I can. But Michael, I didn't get to catch the whole thing. I watched the part 1 and I watched some of part 2, but I was trying to get ready for this show, so I didn't get to watch it. But you know what's really interesting when I heard him say, Dom Cicale say. So now we're not going to say no names, but you and I.
Excuse me. Could you send Mikey a link?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, send a link.
Okay. Mikey, if you're watching, I'm gonna put a link in the chat, brother, so you can just click the link in the chat and I'll let you, and right there it is, brother. So Michael, again, I'm not gonna say no names, but what most viewers might not know is there's significant communication that occurs in the background of the genre, that people talk. Everyone knows each other. You might not see us always together on screen, but everyone communicates behind the scenes. And I mean, I've talked to everybody. I know everyone in this genre. And Michael, there's been many people who have a relationship with Sammy, talked with Sammy, have told us, hey, I'm going to do this with Sammy or talk with Sammy about that. And I know, because I'm on all the phone calls, we have never tried to turn someone against Sammy, bashed Sammy to his friends or people he gets along with. So I found that part that Cicale said in his live today when he said, he was so upset that I was talking to you or said something good about you. And I found that to be because you never took your personal feelings for Sammy and tried to flip other people to be on your side or take your position. So how would you, did you see that part of the video that Dom talked about when he said?
Yeah, I said that. But you know what? This is what when we talk to people, especially people I never met before, that interact with Sam. And there's been many. Everybody's ran out to Sammy and obliged him in every way they could to make him happy, because one, he is an engaging guy. If you just sit around, have a drink, and talk shit, it is fun. The problem is once you want to do business with him, like his whole history since a kid, that's when it changes. He can be engaging. He can be funny. He is witty. He has all of that. But it's the problem is when you do business with him. Now, the only thing I would tell anybody, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name, don't forget his past. Don't forget, you just met him. You just met him. Judge your book cover and what's inside. He wrote the books. He gave the interviews. Nothing has changed. So that's the only advice I could give somebody. But, in Dom's case and others, they thought that they could be friendly with Sammy. They gave Sammy an opportunity because Sammy had the history. He had the pedigree. He had all the dirt. He had all the murders. He had all the robberies of his friends and everybody else and his family. He had all the dirty deeds out there. But people gave him a chance. But in Gravano's mind, he's giving you a chance to go kiss his ring. So, like everybody else, you start out with in good faith, and then you get bit, and then you learn about him. The only difference here is, everybody, the only thing I can tell you is saving grace. He only hurt your feelings before he take your life and your business and everything else that went with you, your spirit. He took everything from you. That's the only thing that helps today. In his mind, watch his videos. He will put that evil upon you if he could. Dominick, You're right. If it was the street, you'd be dead. You would have had all that money when you're bringing that money into Joe Messina and the Banana family. He would have it. And you'd be just another guy that made another mistake. You would have been a potential rat. You were a rat. You were robbing. You were fucking his girl. Something. He would have made up an excuse to take everything away. He was talking about John Gotti. He was snorting a little too much cocaine. You would have found the reason to take everything you had and killed you, Dominick. So let's just laugh at this. Dominick, I'm going to do something for you. Me and RJ, Mikey. You gave me 3 bottles the night I met you. I had 3. 2 were in my cabinet. I don't know what happened. I think they evaporated. They were empty. I don't know how that happens inside the cabinet, that they get empty. But this one I cracked today. And in honor of you coming out, being woke in a different way, we're going to, Team No Excuses, going to salute you for waking up to this animal. Good health to everybody.
So I'm drinking iced tea, but
why don't we talk about something really funny? Because I feel like this is rehashing. We already know this about Sammy. Why don't we talk about the show he did?
Yeah.
2 episodes. Because that's really funny. That's something we could really have fun with, I think.
Yeah, well, you weren't here, but we started out like that. I gave a little something on that.
Okay.
Jump right into it.
No, what was your thoughts on it? I thought it was a little shocking at first.
Okay, go ahead. Let you go. Go ahead. You run with this one.
You want me to run with this one? I don't know. Is it projection? Is it projection? Because it's a little extreme. I get, I love Dexter, Serial Killer. I love all the shows. But it was a little extreme in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think of the way she got hung with a machine and a rope? It was very well thought out, I think. And I want to know who wrote that. I don't know if he wrote it. Because maybe he didn't write it. I would assume he wrote it.
Jack, jump in.
Questions.
no, I want to know. I don't. Give me your opinion.
I know you're the analytical guy. You know I like to go last. That's how I win my arguments. I go last.
I think the subconscious plays a strong role in everything. You can find a lot of a person in anything they're connected to, anything that they're doing. There's a shadow side of all people. There's what we present that's controlled, which is usually not. That's what we want people to think about us. But there's a shadow side that all people have, and it's like it's usually exists more in the subconscious, and it will find its way into everything that we're doing. All of us, all people. So I think it's telling a truth that's living within.
So I agree with you 100%. So I think it was the first episode. They talk about how the killer takes people's identities, right? Didn't he do the same thing to a certain extent?
Oh, yeah.
Businesses, family members, right?
You touch on a point there, a big point, and we made this in another show, is that he plotted and murdered certain people. And I called him the bone collector, right? The last time you take an artifact, a trophy, something from the person you murdered. And he don't like to be called a serial killer, right? But he has everything that goes with a serial killer. Everything. That's what he is. Maybe he didn't kill everybody with his hand, but he did it with his mouth. And as he moved Dominick around, like Dominick said, he fell for it. He soft-soaped him. He romanced him into getting involved with him. That's exactly what he did to John Gotti, Paul Castellano, Little Tato, and everybody else in life. He has a way about him. And his way is so devious. He says, John played checkers. I played chess. No, you fucking ratted. What you did was you plotted and you planned all of this. You're a better schemer, plotter, and planner than John. John had a pure heart for you. He trusted you, even to convince him to take lives. you challenged John's spirit as a man to say no, because you knew John's mind that he may be perceived as a punk to you if he said no to murdering somebody. A whole other subject we will get into one day about John Gotti. But you're right. What he did, Michael, was he took family members and put them close to him. How dare you? Joe Colucci's son, Jack. No, you shot his father in the head and then go partners with him and take money from him. And then I didn't want to get into the personal stories with Jack. Jack passed away. Jack had a tremendous amount of issues, but he was a nice guy. He's a pure-hearted guy. I know Jack decades. As a matter of fact,
it's a shame he passed when he did.
He did a podcast. He was very upset. He had some mental issues at the end, dealing with demons or whatever he was dealing with. But he had a show, Don't Say Jack or Don't Call Me Jack. Oh, you don't know?
I don't know Jack. It was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's a shame he died, because I left a comment on his page one day, maybe like a week before he died. And I'm assuming he thought it was you. You know what I mean? I'm assuming he didn't see the junior. And he seemed excited that you reached out to him.
Yeah, I would have loved to have talked to him. It's a shame he passed. And you got the Garofalo brothers, the bar with Mike the Bat. The guy talks about Mike the Bat's father and how close he was to them. And then you take his life in the bar. He talks about Louis Melito's daughter, how princess had sit on his lap, and he still talks about it nicely today. He took a father's life in the soul, regardless of what he was in the street. What you're talking about what Sammy takes from you. He sucks everything out of your family and then takes everything from you. Monetarily, spiritually, everything. The Joe Bellotti killed his brother. You had Joe Bellotti click his heels. Joe Bellotti hated him. I don't know how this story comes that Joe Bellotti with Joe Watts, he was going to kill him because of threatening the family. That's complete falsehood. Fantasy. See the fantasy, the premise, what you said about the show, the Salvatore? He became Salvatore now. His dreams, his fantasies, as you said, Michael and RJ, that he's living out now. I'm going to bring everybody back to some of the things he said. Huck, Thomas Carbonaro, and his crew went out to kill him. He describes how he would torture and kill Huck.
Yeah, where do you do that? On a live?
Yeah. Yep, on one of his videos. He described what he would do to gas pipe. Right? Put him between my legs. It was interesting.
Drinks blood.
Interesting in itself. Slit his throat, suck his blood, and do it. He's so graphic in the way his mind works. He talks about people coming to Arizona and meeting them in basements and do. The guy has pure evil thoughts all the time. The guy's so frustrated right now in his life that he can't taste the blood. He can't watch somebody die. He can't watch one of his friends or a loved one be chopped up. He's yearning for it. So he lives it. He enacts it in these videos. The guy gets sexually aroused, I think, from this. When he describes Louis Melito being shot in the head and then getting the gun put under his chin and then blowing his head off. Putting a bullet in it.
Well,
somebody you know since childhood, no matter how egregious he did something, he didn't rape your wife or your daughter. He talked to him behind John's back, according to you. Him. And you watch all that happen. The guy likes evil. He likes to see the life come out of people, whether really dead or living, walking next to him. He sucks the life of his own family. So this thing he's doing, this is a release for him, this Salvatore, and anything else he does. Everybody's a chop up series. I watched a couple of them. Chop up, this guy chops people up, this one does this. The guy in there, Roy DeMayo, whatever the guy DeMayo is, how evil is. That's really Sammy. He's projecting, as you said, DeMayo, that's really him acting in that guy. Because he's doing the evil thoughts and deeds in those films that Sammy's putting into them. That's what he thinks the guy was doing with these deeds, this evilness.
Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think is more twisted? Because how many people did he shoot? 1 or 2 out of the 19? 2, right?
Well, Alan Kaiser, big suspect in pulling the trigger there.
He blames Louis for that, but it was probably him.
Where's Louis? Let's talk to Louis, see who did it.
But the point,
Sure.
do you think it's more twisted to do the shooting or watch like he did? He watched a lot of the time. Not all the time, but majority of the time he wanted to watch it happen.
Well, I'll tell you why. The latter is what you said. The first time he killed somebody, he described vividly, even on Megyn Kelly's show, how he felt.
Yeah.
Lost, no feeling, cold. Everything was good. Took a shower. It sounded like a movie anyway, but as descriptive as it was. But he didn't keep shooting. He didn't do the pulling the trigger or commit the murder himself. What he did was plot, plan, and execute it with somebody else, with him watching and viewing it. Like The Road to Perdition. I don't know if anybody ever seen that. The murder in that movie, the hitman in that movie, would go around and film the person dying. Sammy has in one of his scenes this guy filming this person dying. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his part of his fantasy, watching those videos over and over. Could have. What he does is he watches them over and over his head. I think he got more pleasure out of watching, because you step back, you remove watching everything as it happens instead of just doing it. I think he took in the whole picture and made like a movie in his head in actual murders that happened. Otherwise, if you got all that great feeling about pulling that trigger, why don't you pull it every time?
I think he enjoyed having people do it. I think it was like a multifold thing. I think there was a couple of things going on there. You know, because a lot of these serial killers, it's not just sexual. A lot of it's the power angle of it, the control.
Yeah.
That's why they torture them and, you know, stuff like that. So I think, you know, it was a couple of things. I think he had the control thing going on. But not only is he taking your life and controlling you in that way, he's taking your soul. He has somebody else doing it. He's taking their soul in a different way.
And he's controlling them.
And he's taking their soul. You know, if you believe in stuff like that, you're going to hell if you kill somebody, right? He took 2 souls in one shot. So,
Jay, there was a part. He had his daughter, Karen, and supposedly he's in prison. And he's going back and forth with his daughter on. He puts in this show, John Gotti. He should have killed John Gotti. She says you should have killed John. What Karen said there, right, about his cooperation and her feelings, she said that from day one when we were still in the street after Sammy flipped, our father flipped. The woman is hurting. She still says it today. I was surprised he let her say that, her true feelings, in that show. So she did a very good job there. I know it still pains you. You really could see it in her face. She wasn't acting. That's real. Just like his answers in his mind about blaming John are very real. So that little scene had a little impact on me. One, he used his daughter, his real daughter, to extract those type of emotions out of her and relive this. In the show, he shows his family, the victims of being slaughtered. He uses their real images and likeliness in the show. What does that say to you? Say about you? What does it say to you? What does it say to you? That he could do that. No matter how you think, he's fantasizing about his own family members. He could have made up a name. He could have made it Ruggerio's. He could have made up any name, right? No, he kept it Gravano. This is all about him, his evilness. In his mind, I could never envision having my sons, either one of them, be tortured and acted out. I can't. I can't. Did you want it to happen, Sammy? Is that what you really wanted to happen to your family? I don't know. He made it happen with everybody else in his life. I mean, had his brother-in-law killed, he watched, and he had him chopped up and watched.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he didn't want that to happen to his family. I'll give him that.
I won't.
I can't. I'll give him that. I don't think so.
If that was the case, son, you never would have had their names in it. Never would have used their likeness.
I don't know.
He put their real pictures up. Pictures burning. What's it with you're burning your family away? You're burning their souls away? There's more to it. So we need a clinical psychologist on there. Somebody studies serial killers.
The subconscious mind is really where you can find a lot out about a person. And underintelligent people fall for surface level frontline conversation a lot. But the more intelligent person is, they like, I've heard quotes before, 85% of communication is nonverbal. It's the things you do when you're not talking. It's the things that you do and the symbolism around your life and stuff like that. The things you do that you didn't think you were doing. It tells a lot. And most clinical psychologists would say it's something to be said of what you're saying. I concur. A lot of professionals would say there's something to look at there. I don't know what the answer is, but they would say that could be factored into an assessment. Michael, let me ask you. Did you hear? Well, I know you heard it, but how do you feel about that audio where he's talking about a murder that he never told the FBI? Wow. I was wondering what your thoughts are on that and what that could mean and what that, yeah.
That's Sammy. Sammy got comfortable, according to Dom. They were together. I found this out today, right? In that little snippet that I watched out of his video he did. And they were in the back room filming. And I guess the cameras were still rolling with the audio on. So I can open hot mic, what do they call it? Hot mic moment. We don't think the world is listening, but they are. I think he got caught on, I know he got caught on a hot mic moment. It's there. It is his voice. The way he his cadence, the way he's telling the story is he confessed. He fucked up. It was probably a murder he did by himself or with somebody that's no longer here, that's dead. Maybe Louis Molino. Maybe one of the other guys that he had to cover his tracks with, that he murdered. Ones that had all the sins of Sammy Gravano. The ones he eliminated to silence them. So I believe 100%. There's no, and this ain't because I don't like the guy. Listen to his cadence. Listen to the way he speaks. This guy slipped. He slipped on the banana peel. Like a lot of other people fuck up and say things they should never said it. Go watch all these ID channels with people with murderers. They talk to their girlfriends and start confessing on the phone to them that they committed the murder. He brags about it. He's a bone collector. He tried to tell Dominick there's more. He tried to put Dominick in this circle of confidence and slipped. He disclosed something. So it's out in the world right now. Whether the government can make a case, that's another thing. But I'm sure that there's the victim's family out there that has something to do with TG that might come forward. Maybe the guy was murdered, it was never solved. I'm sure it was never solved. Or the guy just disappeared. He didn't get into detail. Or there's more to that tape that we did not hear. So very interesting. And I'm sure there's a lot of people looking at this. But there's one thing. He lied again. So Lyle strikes again at a minimum. Now, is he lying, right? Is he lying to the government that there was number 20, at least number 20? Or is he lying to Dominick? Either way, he lied. There's a lie there. If it never happened and he lied, How's he going to go if FBI went to tomorrow and said, "Hey, Sam, let's talk about this. Hey, here's the tape. Let's do it again." I lied. So he just told he's going to tell the whole world, Mikey Scars is right. I'm a fucking liar. He's done. Anybody who follows this guy and his lies, Sir Lie a lot, is just an ultimate fan, and they have a right to be an ultimate fan. Go watch Walt Disney. Go watch what's his name, Stanley Kubrick. They make some good movies.
Michael,
How's Rick?
that and his last live, and I know me and you talked about this after it, but and guys, we're not one of those channels that will watch something and pretend we didn't watch it. Yeah, we watched it. So just so we watched it. A lot of these channels would be like, I didn't watch it, but I heard. No, you watched it. We all watch each other. Let's just be honest here. We watched it. But he talked about something that I wanted to ask you about, as far as when he was cooperating, the lawyers were doing everything they could to make him look bad on the stand.
Yeah.
And they were reaching out to all these people, and all these lies were generated and it seemed like he was suggesting that, a lot of what you're talking about, what you're discussing and it's being presented as fact, but he said it's not fact. And he talked about specific examples, like, they're trying to paint him into a serial killer. They tried to make it seem like he would just kill his friends and take their businesses.
All right. See, a key word you said in there, they try to hit him with lies. He said they're lies. Who said they're lies? He's saying they're lies. When you flip, and the defense team, like I went through Junior to go see his family, to see if they could give us anything that could help them undermine Sammy with facts to make him look bad. The bad acts, not the false acts, his own bad acts, not lies. Yes, a lot of defense attorneys, I had it happen to me. They create smoke and mirrors, and so there's smoke, but there's the fire down the road. You just got to figure it out. Yeah, they lay all that out. But I was there. I know a lot of stuff that the judge would not introduce as evidence. I know stuff that John Gotti said, don't even try to introduce that. That's what kind of guy John was. Don't even go there. There was a lot of stuff about Gravano, dogs in bars with people. There's stuff. There's a lot of stuff there that can make this guy look really bad. Stuff with girls. He makes himself out to be father of the year, husband of the year. No, he was a fucking degenerate. No, he did the bad boy thing with girls. There's a lot that goes into Gravano and his perceived lies. I was on the stand, 15 trials. Everything, and Michael knows, my son's right there. He was a victim of being put on the stand through John Jr. Another story for another day. But they'll try, and they put my ex-wife up. Let's not forget her. To try to make me mad or undermine me. That's the job of the defense, to do that. If they could dig up dirt, real dirt, and hit you in the face with it and prove it and have you lie about it and then prove it, there goes the case. They want you to lie. And if they could back it up with another witness or a fact. So this thing that everybody lied and all the questions they were asking them, first of all, like I said, the judge wouldn't allow a lot of stuff in. He's going trying to go get a hypnotist. Before he got arrested, hypnotist. So he can handle prison. That's true. Go get Teddy Atlas. Can we get Teddy Atlas on the show?
I'd like to get Teddy Atlas on the show. How do we get in touch with him?
That's your job. You just got a job. All right. So, these people that know him, like myself, I go back to the 60s with Gravano. He's from my neighborhood. Well, I didn't hang out. He was 10 years my senior. But you know about everything, every tough guy, every good guy, every bad guy, every scumbag, every hero in the neighborhood. You know about everybody. We all know about each other. Now we're talking about Dominick Cicale et al. After Sammy's last prison stint coming home, that he has bitten. He's the same guy. He just dreams about killing instead of killing.
Okay. You said that, and
Hey, hold on. I just got an espresso. You're really in trouble out there now.
you know, I always like when you color that dynamic between like John Gotti and Sammy, because some people sometimes, and I see it in comments at times where people will say, "Well, they're all gangsters." I know I asked you this before, but I think it's important. It's worth noting because you say and you believe John Gotti had a. I heard you say in our last Patreon live had a human heart. And if he didn't, more people would be dead. Angelo Ruggiero would be dead if John didn't have a human heart. So, like, how would you answer that to people who say, "But Michael, it was Sammy versus Gotti. Gotti turned on him first. It's the mafia. They're all gangsters. They're all criminals." Like, how would you answer that if someone said that to you?
Well, sure. We're all gangsters and criminals. Don't ever forget that. When we're in the mob with the guy standing next to you. You can't forget that. So, going back to John was manipulated like Dominick Cicale, like Jeff Nadeau, like other people that try to engage and cozy up to Gravano. He's only going to bite you, but he can romance you. He can lead you down the primrose path. He does it. Dominick, like he said, if it was 2 weeks earlier, steam would have been coming out of his ears like a cartoon. He took a moment not to react at that moment, which is a good thing. You collect your thoughts. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to come off motion on your sleeve. He's still pissed. He still realizes what this guy did to him. He wanted him to call him the Don. Yeah, I asked your permission to do this. Chop my head off. That ain't happening. I'm going to tell him he's the Don. I asked your permission. You're a fucking rat. We all ratted. What the fuck is going on? So when you talk about a guy like John Gotti and Gravano, and he says he won his freedom. He has no conscience about what he did and all the guys he put in jail. He's nobody. He's John Gotti's boy. I was John Gotti's boy. Everybody under John Gotti that anybody has anything to say was John Gotti's boy. This whole thing wouldn't exist without John Gotti. It would be this small. So, John, his fault was that he thought if he didn't kill when pushed, he'd be perceived as soft. And John lets Sammy push him. Hence, those tapes. John's mistake after that was, because this is on John, no matter how much Sammy pushed, because on tape he knows what Sammy was doing to him was kill Louis DeBono. John should have showed real strength. I want to do a show on this. You make me get it out now. But I'll give it to you. John's mistake was he should have told Sammy, I got Louis. Stand down. And not kill him. It's a shame because Louis died just before they all got pinched. And this has nothing to do about saints and sinners. Who deserves to die and who don't deserve to die. Louis did nothing wrong to die like that. Like the rest of Sammy's guys, victims and agendas. Yeah, I know. This is Sammy's show. They're gonna say, "Yeah, here goes Michael Bish and Sammy don't like him." These are all facts. Look at the 20 people. I said 20 or 19. What did I say? According to Sammy, it's 20. I'll go by Sammy's new number. John Doe number 20. John Doe number 20. You know you could be charged as a John Doe, I'm pretty sure. Killing a John Doe could be a murder charge.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think so. Where's the attorneys out there? Come on. Let me know, right or wrong. But this is where we are, RJ. We can't. There's no comparison between John Gotti and Sammy Gravano. Like, look, Joe Messina sat in that seat. Joe didn't need anybody pushing him. Joe did the pushing to get to be boss. He killed a lot of people. Had a lot of people. Joe was good at getting into poison in that ear. Sammy Gravano was good to poison that ear. He just didn't get to the top spot. He thought John Gotti, I'll read his mind, sooner or later would burn out and get himself pinched. What screwed up Sammy's plans was that apartment and those tapes. Sammy's plans to be the boss were undermined by John's mouth.
Michael, when did you meet Sammy? How old were you when you first met Sammy?
Probably 8 or 10, around that area. Probably 8. My brothers had a club, a lounge in my basement of my house. They set it up with a bar, and they would charge like 50 cents or a quarter a drink, whatever it was. And all the young guys, the Rampers, Sammy was included. The guys from Bath Avenue, Mikey Michio, and a lot of other legends. Jackie Herman. There's so many guys that weren't around anymore. They used to come there, and they used to get a shot or two and come with a couple of girls. You know, they were in the teens, 17, 18. Let's see, my brother Jimmy was 10 years my senior. My brother Robert was 9 years my senior. So, you know, I could have been 7 or 8 years old at the time because I remember I used to play down there. And there was all the liquor. The basement was set up with a bar, pictures, James Dean on the wall, and all that stuff.
And you knew his family, a lot of his friends, a lot of people that died that he was close with. You knew all of them, right?
Well, when you talk about family's blood family, no. His mother and father had the dress shop on the corner where we hung out, 15th Avenue and 84th Street, as kids when we were in our teens. And that's where his wife, Debbie Gravano, Nikki Shabetta, Debbie Shabetta, Diane Shabetta, and Nikki Shabetta lived directly across the street from his Sammy's father's dress shop. And we hung out in that corner. So, as a matter of fact, as known as his sister, Sammy's sister, and no. I knew his family after being married because I knew them prior to Sammy knowing them.
And then you got close with Sammy's sister after everything through Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Franny. We were around there often.
And Betty and I got really close. And Fran was, she loved Eddie, I tell you. She knew his faults. Fran was tough. Very well-educated woman. If I remember correctly, I think she was a teacher. She had a teaching degree, I think. Very educated, woman, assertive. I like her. As a matter of fact, Madeline liked her very much also.
The reason I ask is because, we get a lot of comments, not a lot, but we get comments at times where it's almost like people want to argue with you about Sammy. And you're a hands-on guy who was there your whole life. You knew him, you knew his friends, you knew a lot of people who there's stories that you haven't even shared with me yet. You said, RJ, we'll get to that. You told me there's things there's private discussions that you had with Louis Melito while he was still alive that you have not shared yet. And I keep asking you, hey, tell me this. You said, we'll get to that stuff. But to me, it's always, I feel like you have more of it's more personal for you, it feels like, because how long you've known him, the friends of his that were friends of yours. So I kind of just wish sometimes people just had an open mind on some of it, because he has a strong following of people that just you can't get through. You cannot break through that bubble, and no matter how much evidence. Michael, we've been on here for a year. We got 3 million views. We got almost, we're approaching 19,000 subscribers, and we have never been caught in a lie. There's never been a channel, not Sammy, not no channel in all of mob genre. They might say, oh, RJ talks too much, he sucks, or I don't like Michael, blah, blah. But you know what they don't say? They don't call us liars. Nobody says they lie over there. They make up stuff over there. They just, blah, blah, blah. That no one calls us liars.
RJ, it's a good point. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you what I told Gravano when he wanted me to be partner up with him. Now imagine he thinks he's going to con me, if I know his whole life, to partner up with him. It could never happen. I never had a thought of it, going partners with him. But he tried to solicit me to get involved with him. The outcome's never going to be good. And I'm not saying it would have been a violent outcome at this stage of our lives, but it wouldn't have been a good one. And I said this many times, and I told you probably one of the first times we talked about Sam. And I said, Sam, we don't have to lie. Just tell the truth. You could do a whole other book if you just told the truth. And he bristled. I do tell the truth. No, you don't. He wanted me to certify somebody that he got friendly with after prison. He never knew the person before. He didn't even know their name, no matter what they say. He didn't know this guy's name. I'm telling you. He wanted me to certify he was the greatest non-Italian gangster ever. I said, I ain't doing that. He's a tough kid, tough guy. Man, now. But I ain't certifying he's the best. Not even close. And no knock on the guy at all. But don't make me lie to get a view, to make money. I ain't in it for that. We're in it to make history, correct history. He motivated me to get involved when I didn't want to get involved. And what is the premise? The truth. Now, I'm not here to convince everybody. I'm not. He's there to convince you. I'm not. I'm going to tell you, as I seen it, as I know it, we all as human beings interpret things differently. Witness identification in any case is about 25%. It's false. But we all perceive as human beings something as we perceive it. Maybe we like somebody, we see it better in them. If we don't like somebody, we see bad in them. The story comes out different. But with Gravano, that's what I'm picking apart. I told you before, I could take just about every video he does and rip it at the end. He's got a premise of the truth. Yeah. You want to go back to Gravano? Serial killer? He don't like it. But he owns 19 murders. He brags about it. How are you not a serial killer? The numbers say it is, especially if they're your numbers. He is a serial killer. He is greedy. That's it. The guy, and I'm here to tell the truth as far as I know it. You decide, the rest of the world, in perpetuity, as long as this YouTube is out here, watch mine and watch his and watch somebody else's. I challenge anybody to come in and tell me different. I welcome it. And I can be wrong. Like I said, people say, well, your favorite John Gotti. Yeah, I do. Yep. He treated me great. Yeah. But if he has a fault, as we know, and people want to see it, oh, Michael, don't call Gotti out. Yes, I do. I said many times his mistakes. But doesn't mean I liked his heart. He had a good heart. Yeah, he was a murderer. This is my life. This was my life. That's the people I associated with. Did I know better about right and wrong? Absolutely. Of course. But that was my life. And I like John Gotti. My boss, my leader, and I loved his humor. And I know he didn't kill any of his guys. It was Gravano had killed everybody.
Well, I think he's going to be fantasizing about maybe 3 more after this one.
No, and Dominick. Don't forget Dominick right now.
All right, Dominick, so I guess so.
Dominick.
Yeah.
Dominick, get ready. He's got the voodoo doll for you.
Dominick, if you're listening, I told you you're welcome to pop in if you would like. I put a link in the chat for you. Michael, you know what I think people, and I always say this, if you look at, because YouTube's full of guys, former guys in their life that cooperated. And it's almost unanimous that the people that are on YouTube talking, when it's time to address their cooperation, he did it. My boss did this to me, so I had to get him. I had no choice. The life sucks. The life is bad. Fuck my boss. My boss is the worst thing ever. I loved him until I got arrested. But then I got arrested and he's so bad now. Everything I ever did in my life is bad. And I think you were the first guy to present a new narrative that you can be a former cooperator, come out and talk and say, my boss treated me good. John Jr. was my friend. I loved him. The life, I got nothing bad to say about the life. The life was good. I missed the life. I look in the mirror. I see the reflection of Michael and what Michael did. Michael did it. Not John Gotti, not John Jr., not the Gambino family, not Cosa Nostra. Michael did it. You said, I didn't take an oath to John Gotti. I didn't take an oath to Pete Gotti. I didn't take an oath to Junior Gotti. I took an oath to Cosa Nostra. That's a new thing in this genre. And it's proven well. People have been receptive to you. They like you. They trust what you say. But I think one of the things is you don't sit on here and whine and say, oh, poor Michael. You just tell it straight. And I know I'm beating your drum a little bit, but it is the truth. You're one of the first guys to come out and not shit on the whole life, shit on everybody, piss on everybody, bad talk everybody.
Well, I really appreciate your assessment there. It goes a long way. And that's why we're partners today, because of the way you think, your analytical mind. And I appreciate that. And all our fans out there and our members, our Patronese family, appreciate your analytical approach. And Michael Jr. coming in here also. You think Michael and I agree on things? We talk. Like I told him before, we don't agree. But that's okay. It brings a new perspective onto how he views me. You don't think I want to see how I disappointed this kid at one point of his life with me? It means something to me. I have to look at myself at that point. Like everything else in life, when you're married. I always go back to marriage, because that's the person who sees you every day and lives with you, cleans your underwear, and tolerates you. So they see your faults and your good points. Sometimes the faults are greater than others. And that's what you see in your boss. It's always can't be 100% for you. Once you start saying everything is for me, everybody's going to hate you. You can't be the smartest guy in the room. You can't be the funniest guy in the room. Sometimes you got to sit back and let somebody else be funny or smart. And, it was an honor being John Gotti's company. It was an honor being Paul Castellano's company. 2 different ways they managed. 2 different ways. John was more my guy. Paul was more my thinking of old school and everything like that. But that went into Cosa Nostra. But John was a different thing for me. He was a younger-minded guy. He was very witty. He engaged so much with everybody if he let you in. And when he let you in, you smiled. Be wary, though. Like you told me once, I'll chop your fucking head off.
That's the one video that we did, and no one talks about it. That's one of my favorite shows. It's the first show we did. We did it on Black Handprint, and I ended up re-releasing it on No Excuses. But man, that is John Gotti. And the same line of making sure you're not fucking up your health or hurting yourself, he's letting you know if take you the fuck out. He said, "You doing drugs? I heard you're doing drugs, Michael." John, who told you that? I love that story.
They put that part in the movie, right? The new movie, but the new one that he made, John Jr.'s movie. There's a scene where John approaches Rudy Scar's DiLeonardo.
Oh yeah,
and he gets at him about something, about going to somebody's house when they weren't home to see their wife. Similar story how we approached you, I guess, getting at you a little bit, but they tweaked it. So something similar, I guess.
Yeah. Well, whoever didn't hear the story, what I said, just before I got straightened out, Paulie Zach got a message that John Sr. wanted to see me. And we went out to Queens. It was a Sunday night. He was playing cards. And he comes outside and very direct, after hello. He said, "I heard you got a cocaine problem. You got a nose problem." Now, I had very bad allergies, right? Besides the fact that I know maybe there was a couple of people, when they're jealous, they give you that harpoon to try to knock you off the list or make a beef indirectly about you. So he said, "I heard you got a problem. You got a problem, let me know." I says, "No, what are you talking about? I don't know. I don't get high." So I said, "John, if you find out I'm doing coke or I have a drug problem, you could chop my fucking head off." And I'm looking right at him. He's the boss. I'm associate right now. He looks at me, goes, "Don't worry, I will." So I look at him and says, "John, somebody lied to you. One day I'd like for you to tell me." He looked at me. He says, "Maybe I will." I never got the answer. I would have liked to. But don't harpoon me. But that's John. He gave me a shot. Instead of branding me an associate, not from Queens, a Brooklyn guy, gave me the opportunity to come clean. If I had a problem, would have took me off the list, right? But he dressed me with it. He gave me an opportunity to defend myself. That's a boss. Not just brand you and kill you. Gravano would have killed you. Difference. There was two suspects, two captains, that one of them may have said it to me, that it would have got to John's ears like that. Two Brooklyn guys. So, but, that started by, I guess, my inroad with John Gotti Sr. Being very direct with me and me being very direct back. In a respectful way, 100%. But he looked right down my eyes into my soul to see if I stood up to that. He would have known if I was lying. Wasn't true. I never did that. Ever. Never. Not tried. Ever.
Yeah. Wow, this show got a lot of people that came in, over 600 people just in the live chat. It's so funny because, and it's a comment in here I'm going to speak on about this, but me and Michael doesn't care nothing about numbers, but I'm like the show's producer. I take responsibility when a show fails, when a show's successful. I stress when it's low. I'm happy when it's high. Let's go live. We gotta touch our YouTube people. We can't forget about them. I said, Michael, but it's a bad time, 3:30 on a Friday. He's like, RJ, let's just go. They can rewatch it later. Over 600 people were in this live chat. I don't even know what the total viewership is yet, but just in the live chat, we crossed 600. So someone said here something interesting. And Dom talked about this. He said, this guy, Bobby Brown, says, "I can't believe after all this time, we're only at 19,000 subs. Thought we would blow up after the 10,000. So Dom brought this up today. And let me be the new word we use is narcissistic. So I'll use that word. But Dom talked about Sammy's viewership. He has all these subs. But you look at the numbers, very, very, and that's most of the attacks on us when we get someone that comes in our comments. Sammy got 550,000 subscribers and you got this. Sammy's last show did 800 people in the live. And today we got 600. He got 500. He got over 100 times the subscriptions that we have. Most of our shows perform at somewhere around 200%, 200% plus of our subscription base. Sammy's performed somewhere like 3 or 4%. Okay, so and what Dom was questioning is the numbers. Something's funny here. And I was glad that he said that. I was really happy that he said that because a lot of numbers, I ain't gonna call nobody out, but everybody mostly knows who they are. But a lot of numbers and that people are looking at in this genre, they're not real. People buy fake live numbers, they buy fake viewers, fake comments, fake subscribers. So, and then sometimes the channels, and the bad thing about it is the channels that are integrity-based channels do everything the right way. They get hit because they look like they're not performing to these other numbers. But the truth is we're just performing at a real level, at a real numbers. So that's just my thing about it. I think Dom is correct. I think a lot of people buy subscribers. I think these numbers don't add up, guys. When you got guys with all these subscribers and they got 68 people watching their shows, they got, 3 comments they bought it. It's not real. It can't happen. I've been here for 2 years. It can't happen. I know how it works. And there's more people. There's more people than you would be very surprised.
I think we came in at a weird time too last year. I think it peaked right before we entered last June, right? Or July. And I think it started dropping off when we came in, to be honest with you.
No, the genre was dead. The numbers of it was dead. There was nobody there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Completely dead.
Yeah.
But get back to what RJ said. RJ, I'd like you to answer this. When did we announce a live for YouTube? For this one?
Yesterday, I posted that I put the timer up at 11 o'clock today. So there you go. The notification went out at 11 o'clock today.
Okay. When is Sammy's lives?
Although set every Monday, same time.
Okay. So in perpetuity right now, he's on. Everybody knows he's going to be on every Monday, including us. We watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has a jump to get set, get ready. If they're interested in watching him and build his numbers up, they have a huge advance. We did this yesterday. You know what that shows? People know we're credible. They know they're going to hear something of interest, something new, and the truth. Tonight I'll be on. There'll be 200 comments minimum. I'll be up tonight with pleasure to answer as much as we all three of us can answer on there. So this is what it's about. And I'm really flattered at all the people that came on here today at the last moment where RJ said, Michael, Friday afternoon was the worst time you could ever do this. Right?
I didn't want to go on. I did not want to go. I said, Michael, let's wait till Sunday. Because I understand like the analytics and stuff. He said, but let's just go on. If they can, and Michael, I gotta say, Michael has trust in his people and this support group here because every time we do this, it's always successful. There are so many, Michael. There are so many channels praying for our downfall, and I tell people all the time, we're bulletproof. The only thing that hurts you in this genre, flip-flopping, faking, lying, playing to a crowd. I never try to come on here and act like a gangster. I'm a college kid. Don't want no smoke. I don't want no trouble. I don't try to act like a tough guy. Michael doesn't come on here trying to be anybody he's not. We just do a show. He's really my friend. People get so mad that he really is my brother. I love the guy. People don't like, but everything you guys see, it's real. It's a 100% authentic show. This is not no bullshit. This is all real. And the reason why we'll always be successful as long as we're on YouTube. I think we set the standard. I'm sorry. I will sit here and say it. I think we have created a model that everybody should follow. Michael answered over 40,000 comments. Personally. Stays up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning responding. He reads every comment. If you get a notification, Mikey Scars, he answered it. He reads them. Everything we do on here, he's really my friend. This is not just some show that we're partnering up. It's not a money grab or nothing like that. We do live events, and we're not charging $800 for you to appear on our screen with us like some channels are doing. Free meetups.
Safe, Sammy. Sammy charges $800 a half hour.
Ask our people how many. We call everybody. We do live meetups. We pay for dinner. We pay for drinks. We take the money that we make. We pay for anybody's membership. Anyone on here, if you want to join Patreon and you don't have the money, reach out to the show. We'll pay your membership. When we meet up, we buy the drinks. We pay for dinner. You don't pay for nothing. This is not us trying to money grab and rob anybody. Everything we do on here comes from a real place. 100%. It gives Michael the opportunity to tell a story. And for me, I worked my whole life on writing a book. So I'm not trying to sit here and say it's this complete noble thing, because we all have an angle. I wanted to build a following up, people who know me. So when I put my book out, there's people who can go buy it, and I have an audience of people who might want to support me and purchase my book. So my angle was a book I've been writing, and Michael can tell his story, leave it, and tell it from his own mouth.
Yeah.
There's my rant. Michael, I spoke a little too much there. I might get hit for that.
No. They know you got a pure heart.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate everybody coming on here at the last minute. Hope you digest all of this, think of it. And if there's anything that you disagree with what I said, RJ or Mikey, let us know. We'll answer it.
Yeah. And let me just acknowledge everyone who gave a donation to the show. We really do use... Any guy want to post a comment on one of our videos? Do they really help pay for memberships? You'll have many of our people say, yes, they've helped me. So all the money that was given to today's show will go into that pot. So thank you to Phyllis, $5. Gravano cannot experience empathy. He is clinically a sociopath. Thank you for the donation. Just read that one. Sorry. Got another one here. Grind Jr. donates $10. Thank you, Grind. Appreciate it.
I have something to say about donations.
Go ahead.
We would like for you to get somebody to sign up, or sign up if you're not on Patreon. Instead of giving us the money on here, YouTube takes 30 or 35%. Just sign somebody else up to come to Patreon. Join us over there. That's donation enough, and you can get some great info and interact with a great family we have over there. Really great people. I think we only had to block 4 people since our inception. They got a little out of order, disrespectful to others. But as far as everything else, it's been wonderful on that side. So instead of giving us the money here, donate somebody's subscription. That helps us more. Build the family up.
Yeah.
It's all about the message.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Colonel Red
Colonel.
$10. We got another one here, $10. Hi, Mike. I would love to see you and RJ bring Ruggiano on your show. $10. Thank you.
Let's address that. There's a lot of people we would like to have on the show. We wanted in our grassroots movement here and going forward to really not have guests. Once in a while, the Tony Cardinale was really important to debunk the Gravano narrative about why he flipped, which is a complete lie. In Gravano's own words, to which we laid out, Gravano lied at least 3 times on why he flipped. So we're not even to get into that. But Tony Cardinale was on that case from every line in testimony from beginning to end, so he knew the case. And Joe was a 282 guy, a Teamster thing that everybody wanted to hear, except for me, that could give us an insight into the 282 stuff. So we'll be far and few between with guests. It's no slight. We're not leaving people out. We don't think we're better than anybody else. It's just that we rather keep our brand real tight.
It's funny I was brought up too, because Dominick on his show today talked about that. I had a note because I wanted to give Dominick kudos for having the courage to talk about 2 things. I heard him talk about the numbers, which I just addressed, and one was the behind the scenes in this genre and how it can be really, really sleazy, really dirty. And I've dealt with a lot in the background. That's things no one ever hears about. I'm not a sleazy guy. I would never cheapen myself so much to get on a microphone and the camera and argue with people and yell and scream F you and your mother and all that. So I just turn my head to it. But when I started this show with Michael, and he said, "Look, RJ, you're the professional. You're the guy that knows how to do this. I'm gonna follow your lead. What do you think?" And I said, "Michael, here's my advice. Me and you, we take the time. We build this thing up ourselves. We don't go all over the place and make appearances. It ain't no slight to nobody, because everyone will call and say, there's friends I've had in this genre that are not my friend no more, not because I did anything, just because I didn't want to make appearances. It wasn't personal. It's just I just wanted to build the show grassroots, me and Michael on the camera, not dependent of anybody. And that's what we did. And I said, we're not going to fight people. We're not going to argue. We're not going to do any of that silly stuff. We're going to build a great show. And a lot of times you make friends with people on here just to one day have them be your enemy. So I said, let's just focus on what we do. So largely, guess what we're going to do largely on this channel is our own show. And if we bring people on, it's because somehow they play a role in the overall subject of what we're doing. We brought on Joe Lamfranchi to talk about 282. We brought on like we just said, Cardinale, and we have a prospective guest right now that everyone's going to love. We're working on that one, but there might be somebody on soon. But other than that, we like to keep our show tight and in-house. Carlos, thank you for the $10 donation.
I got one other thing to add, if I may.
Go ahead.
There's other content makers out there. Jeff Nadeau, Lee Cole, James Proctor, Dominick, RJ, JJ, right? JJ, yeah. Give him a shout out. Maybe you could drop a link to his. We'll give him a shout out. Now, it may sound self-serving because they have done positive videos about us, our show, and things, subject matter we put out. Well, let me make something clear in that aspect, because we jump on their side. Somebody says, "Oh, you're kissing Mikey Scars' ass," and or whatever else terminology you want to use. Well, first of all, they didn't just do it because they like me, right? The like had nothing to do with this. What they did was fact check everything this channel, No Excuses, put out and corroborated it. And then put out content on their shows or for us. It's flattery. It's a compliment. But you know why? Because they checked everything we said and they reported as we did behind the scenes. If it wasn't true, we have no contract with Lee Cole and James. We have nothing with Dominick Cicale. We got nothing with this JJ. We got nothing with Jeff Nadeau. RJ's a very good friend of his. They interact personally. FBS. There's many other people we can name on here. But when they do something about us, it's not kissing our ass. If they had something to criticize us or caught us lying, they would do something on their show in contradiction to us. So that's something that we take to the bank, that they're doing something positive or for something they fact-checked us, which is complete flattery. A certification, if you may, on No Excuses. We set the standard. It's really not setting a standard. A lot of this stuff is new info. It's a different take on what I know out of my experience and in my mind. And these guys are running with it, and I respect them for it. If they do a show on me, I'm happy. If it's the right way, and they repeated the facts that they checked. And that's what we want. I challenge everybody. RJ, Mikey, we challenge everybody. Whatever we put out is the truth.
Yeah.
Thank all those guys.
No, yeah, and that's the other thing that with appearances, because I'm real careful on where I go, because here's the problem in this genre. Everybody fights, okay? I don't fight nobody. I just try to get along with everybody. But here's the problem. If I get along with person A, because they never did anything to me, and then person B, they never did anything to me. The problem is, if person A and B hate each other, they now see RJ as choosing a side. So I have to just sit back, because there's been people on here that I've gotten along with really well, and now they don't like me, not because we ever had a problem, They're mad at me because problems that other people had, and now it looks like I'm not. I try to always just get along. It's just
RJ, sometimes see how you said you staying away from it to stay out of it. Sometimes when you're trying to be nice to everybody, you get into more trouble.
and that's
Sometimes it's even worse that way. You piss more people being a nice guy. You know, I don't know if my father maybe told, but I got this mentality now. When somebody curses me out, gives me the finger in the car, now I look at them, I wave to them, or I smile at them, and they get 10 times more crazy. So sometimes when you're a nicer guy, people get even more nuts.
Right. That's it. That's what you got to do. Listen, RJ, see what Mikey said? What about the fence? You want to tell everybody about the fence?
yeah. Michael used to always tell me that all the time. He said, "RJ, let me tell you something," because we're doing the show, and every now and then I'm just trying to, And Michael said, "RJ, you're either here or you're not. When you sit on the fence, you wind up with a picket up your ass." and ever since then, I said, you know what? You can't make everybody happy. I'm gonna do my show. I'm gonna honor our show. If I want to go on your channel, I'll go. If I don't want to go on your channel, I'm not. I'm not gonna go on for pressure. And I'm not gonna tell somebody else no because I'm afraid of what this guy's gonna say. I'm just gonna be me. I've been on here for a year before I started working with Michael, and I had the same personality now as I had over there. So we can go on forever about that.
You got to
No
stand
excuses
for anything.
Yeah, we trying to get along with everybody. There's only one guy that Michael got a razor blade for.
He told it. If he would have told the truth, I wouldn't exist.
There you go. What are you going to do with that razor blade, Michael?
Death of 1,000 cuts. That's going to sound rehearsed, but it's not.
$5. Shy Hooker. I wish Nadeau would have been in business with Sammy back in the day. Real. Thank you for the $5 donation. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you supporting the show. BK Sal Crook, $20 donation. Thank you. Matthew Soto, $5 donation. Is Michael pro Trump at all? Numbers will be off. Not sure what that means.
Well, I'll address that.
Go.
Okay. I don't like politicians in any shape or form. So I don't have a side. I'm a pragmatic guy. RJ, maybe I will do that. Vote for me if I'll set you free. Agenda for that all politicians, I think, should adapt, which touches the American people. I don't have a side. I don't pick a side in politics. For me, politics is the tongue-in-cheek, a dirty word. I believe politicians are part of a compromise, a give and take that don't work for this country anymore. It's gotten worse. But like I said, there's no Trump, there's no Biden, there's no this one, there's no that one.
Freedom. Just leave me alone. That's what we're here for. Freedom, and leave us alone.
I believe the state should make a lot of their own policies and laws, bylaws, and the federal government should be out of a lot of stuff.
Mikey Jr., I'm telling you guys, if you guys can ever get him on the phone to discuss some of these issues, he doesn't talk about this stuff publicly. He could have a whole entire separate channel just talking about this stuff. He could. He's really, I get all these links and texts from him. He's on top of it. So.
Well, you know what? If you have a passion and a love for something like our country, the leaders, if we don't agree with our leaders, because no matter who's in there, 50% of the country is going to agree with your leader, 50% is not. And that's what leads to all this acrimony and nonsense. And it's just talking points and it's stupid. But if you love the country for itself without the politicians, we have a great country.
And final donation, $10. Dom said Sammy was bashing Messino, but Messino did everything bigger and better than you. He was a boss. He ratted and did less time and has way more money. Sammy is very insecure. Thank you for the $10. Another one just popped in here. $50 donation from Mike DeBella. Now Sammy is no good to Dom, but good enough to break bread. Thank you, Mike DeBella, for the donation. We appreciate you. Great show. Wow. I think it might have been our biggest live chat ever. If it's for a non-premiere, we did 950 on a premiere before, but it's just a live show. This was a really busy show.
Well, quick question. Are you going to leave this up for people to come and see it?
Yeah, stays up.
You're not going to edit, just you're leaving it in
Nah.
Okay.
You know how I am. I like clean stuff, but this was a pretty clean, smooth flowing show. If there was all kind of problems, I would have took it down, cleaned it up, and put it back out. But this one's up. This one's good. So it's not going nowhere.
Good.
So thank you to everybody who donated. Mike DeBella, thank you. You're in every show. You're always donating to us. We appreciate your support. It goes towards helping people sign up. Great show, Michael. It's a good idea. Junior, thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you. I want to get with you soon, have a drink or dinner or something.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sorry I haven't been on for a long time, but I'm going to try and get on more often.
Yeah.
Have some nice discussions. It's like therapy.
Look, we need the voice. We need the opinion. It really matters, son. And we love you being on here. I know you got a lot of things going on in your life. You got 3 kids, a job, travel, and this, that. So anytime you come on, we appreciate it. And the people out here love you. Yeah. So I want to see you on here.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
You know everybody loves you. Are you looking for the accolade?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I know everybody. I got this. You can't not like me. I don't do nothing to nobody. If you don't like me, it's personal. No, I'm joking. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. It was just a fun show. And join us on Patreon. Got a lot of good shows on Patreon. Patreon is very interactive. You can reach us by phone. We can make phone calls. We answer every email. You have direct line of communication with Michael. We're on it every day. So thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Peace and love. Take care.
God bless.
Take care.